Hello everybody, we're back, and in this video we're going to continue building the inner pieces to our puzzle. We're going to build the corner, edge, and center respectively pieces. So what I want to do is I'm going to click to put my cursor location out here, and I'm just going to add a new cube, and we're going to add that there. Now it's a little small. I'm just going to make it a arbitrary size. Let's go 19, 19, 19. This will be changed soon here. And let's duplicate this twice. And then I'm going to color this for each of the respective pieces that it's going to go to. So we have a piece for each one for the internal mechanisms. Now on the corner one, we are going to want to move this center piece, the pivot point right here to this corner. On the edge one, we're going to want to move it here to this edge, and on the center cap version, we're going to move it to the center of this face. So what we do is we select our object, and I'm going to hit Tab to go into edit mode. And I need to be in vertice mode so I can select this point. I can do that by either hitting Control Tab and picking it from this list here, or down at the bottom there's vertice, edge, and face right here. There's three icons. Once I'm in vertice mode, I can select this one, and now I want to hit Shift S, and I want to select Cursor to Selected to move my 3D cursor to that point. This option is also available to you here under Snap. Shift S, and here's my options that are under that menu. Now I'm going to go out of edit mode, and I'm going to hit Control Shift Alt C, and I want to say origin to 3D cursor. That will now move to that cursor, and I can see now if I move this, my point is right there. Now that Control Shift Alt S is also the same as going here to transform, and it gives you the option to do things here, and here's my origin to 3D cursor. That's what I used with the shortcuts. I'm going to select this object, and we want to put this on the edge. So we're going to go into edit mode with Tab, and I'm just going to select these two vertices, and that selects this edge. And I'm going to hit Shift S, cursor to selected, exit edit mode, and now Control Shift Alt C, origin to 3D cursor, and it's placed my origin there. Finally on this one, Tab to edit mode, Control Tab, and face. I'm going to select that face, Shift S to move my cursor there, and then exit, and then Control Shift Alt C to move my origin there. At this point I've got these ready. My origin points of each of these has been moved to where I wanted, and now when I zero out their positions, if you look at each one, they've got a position right here. When I zero out the position, it will actually not zero and center the cube like it had previously, but it will center this to 0, and the cube is offset the way I want it to be for each of these. Now I want to position this on the edge of this, and the position that I need up here, it's this dimension I know is 19.5, and since I'm only going one way, I'll actually need half of that. So what I can do is I can select this object, and I see it's in a negative direction, so I'll still need it to be negative, minus 19.5 divided by 2, and that is actually right there on the edge. You can see that it's in the right spot. Now, because this is the core piece inside, I actually don't need this to be this big, so I want to scale in my 2 dimensions here, and I've predetermined that 8 makes a fairly good number here. You are definitely free to change this number however you want, but what you want is roughly a third of this space to be the center piece, and then pieces here for overhang. So I'm going to go with 8, and I see this 19 is sticking through a little bit. I'll just bring that down. That doesn't matter particularly right now. So for our edge piece, I'm going to hit Alt-G to center it, and I'm going to roughly move it into position. And I know this is going to be based off the 8 that I did previously, so I can see that this is a -4. The 0 is fine, and 4. That piece is in position, although I need to make this the same scale. And so let's just take in the Y direction there, and let's make that 8. And then let's take the corner, and we'll center it with Alt-G. And again, I'm going to move it over, up, and over again. Yeah, roughly into position. I know that I'm looking at 4, so here's a -4. The next one is going to be a -4, and the final one is a 4. And I've now roughly positioned all of these pieces. Because all of my scales are goofy right now, they're all the right size I want, but the scales are all over the place. What I want to do right now is select all of my pieces, and including these outer pieces, and I want to hit Control A and apply my scale. And now all these scales will read 1, and that's going to be important for my next step. Let's take these and let's cut them properly. Previously we cut these outer pieces, and we actually did a difference. For the internal part, we actually want the combined piece. So what piece is inside of this and remember, this is a sphere, not a cube, this wireframe object here. So we want to select the object, select this edge piece, and we want to make sure we use the brush version, not the auto version. And in this case, we are going to say intersection, and we'll get this, and we're going to do the same on this edge, and we're going to say intersect. And you're starting to see a cube shape here. Let's make this a little nicer. I'm going to duplicate this and then right click to cancel the moving position. There's still a duplicate here now. I'm going to hit scale. Now this one I'm going to cut out of those shapes. So I want to select this shape, select this. On the Boolean we're going to go difference, and then let's do that one more time with our edge piece, and we'll go difference. So now we're dealing with a little bit cleaner on our interface, and you can change the size of these. Now any size you make here is going to be a working puzzle. It's going to be up to you a little bit to determine what works best for you, but this is our starting point, and the next step we're going to need to do is we're going to actually make this a nicer puzzle. If you were to print this out right now, it would be horrible. Everything is right up against each other, and when you 3D print you need to work with some tolerances. So in our next video we are going to start adding some slight gaps between these pieces to allow better movement. We're also going to start rounding these corners just to allow better movement. As they move around, they won't clash with each other. They will be able to slide and move around a little bit easier. So this video ends with these, and we will move forward with that with the next one. Thank you.